Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Saturday, December the 28th. Yep, whole full board now to go with the news of the day video I did earlier today. So starting off, it looks like Dallas could be in some trouble. Pete DeBoer talking about an optional skate the team had on December 26th, which seems fine except that it violates the collective bargaining agreement. The collective bargaining agreement, and we've seen teams violate this before. I'm trying to remember which team it was that took a flight out early, and that was trouble. So if it does turn out after an investigation that Dallas had a practice and that violates the collective bargaining agreement, we'll see what the fine looks like, or what what they end up paying as a price for this. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but the reality is that if you let a team get away with this, well, then other teams are going to do it. They're going to be like, all right, so we can have an optional practice. And then eventually it's, well, why don't we have one on Christmas Eve too? And before you know it, they're there Christmas Eve, Boxing Day. It's not much of a break. So we'll see what happens. But it looks like Dallas is currently under investigation for this. And it could potentially lead to a fine or... The funniest thing I've seen on this is somebody going, great, now Ottawa's going to lose another first-round draft pick. Absolutely funny. Torgerson of the Winnipeg Jets on unconditional waivers, contract termination coming in, meaning that Torgerson is on his way over to Europe. And so for the Winnipeg Jets, once this contract's been terminated, it does open up another contract spot. So you always have that choice of signing somebody else amongst your undrafteds, or, you hold that spot open. And then when the NCAA players become available in a few months, you've got a spot available within your 50-man roster limit. Huberdeau talked to about his recent play, and he says he thinks he's playing at his best. And he also adds that he's never been fantastic defensively, but that he believes that he's playing his best game defensively as well. For the Calgary Flames, they need that from him, of course. At the cap hit that Huberdeau is at, having him playing at his best is really what helps the Calgary Flames right now. So yeah, we'll see if that continues after the holiday break. But he's been playing quite well for Calgary. I think this is easily his best season amongst this is his third year in Calgary, isn't it? Is it third or fourth? Anyways, what are years anymore? But yeah, he's, I think, playing the best that he has in a Calgary jersey. We'll see if that continues as we roll on past the Christmas break. Coach John Cooper, and this is a nice gesture, and so I'm wearing Tampa because I like gestures like this. So during a pregame presser, he brings in Sam Rosen, the play-by-play announcer for MSG / the New York Rangers, and talks about how he's one of the all-time greats. Rosen definitely pushing back a little bit just to say, hey, there's been some great guys that call games here, but yeah, I think this is a great gesture. This is Rosen's last season. He is retiring, and so it's nice to see a coach calling him in and going, hey, let's go ahead and give some respect to this guy for doing a great job for years and years and years for the New York Rangers. And yeah, I don't think you're going to get any argument there. Rosen, the way he calls games, it's a very classic style of play-by-play that he does. Matthew Schaefer, so Team Canada, the team that everybody's been mocking for the last 24 hours now. Their World Junior team is going to be without Matthew Schaefer, who is out for the rest of the World Juniors. It's broken collarbone. Bob McKenzie saying it's a 2 to 3 month turnaround on that. Sawyer Minio, a Canucks prospect, is expected to be added to the team. So we'll see how Minio slots in, or if he slots in right away, and what Team Canada looks like going forward. But Schaefer being hurt, I believe he's eligible for this coming draft. So hopefully this doesn't negatively impact his draft status, but you have to think it's probably going to. The World Juniors is used by a lot of scouts as sort of the most heavily weighted of the notes they take during the season, in that it's a best on best tournament. So how a player does or doesn't do at the World Juniors can decide whether they move up in the draft or not. So it'll be interesting to see if Schaefer's stock drops. I would think it probably does. But Sawyer Minio being in the lineup for Team Canada, might be kind of fun to see that too. Callie Klang has been recalled by the Anaheim Ducks, as John Gibson's apparently under the weather. So Anaheim playing today. It's a matinee game today. I believe it's a matinee game tomorrow as well, right? Tomorrow is... Where is it? Yeah, it's a matinee game tomorrow as well. And tomorrow they're against the Oilers. Today they're against Philly. So for Anaheim, you got to think Callie Klang, unless John Gibson's good to go tomorrow, Klang would have to play in one of the two. either against Philly or against Edmonton, right? So you might get a chance to see the future as a Ducks fan. They have some good depth in goal in terms of prospects, so it would be kind of fun to see Klein get a game. This is one of those things I like to throw on the board when I see an item and I go, that looks kind of fun. I love Zamboni popcorn bowls. So the popcorn Zambonis are back, and they've got them with the black stylings of their home jersey. It's for a popcorn bowl. It looks kind of nice, and it's going to be available at home games while supplies last. So go grab yourself a popcorn bowl. It's probably going to be like really expensive because these kinds of things are really expensive now. But it's a fun thing. I know we go down to Disney. We like to get popcorn bowls here and there. We may have a couple. And so, yeah, I think these are just sort of a fun item to have. And if you're going to go to one of the upcoming Carolina games, keep your eyes peeled for that. Keandre Miller, who's coming off the IR, is saying that he had time to reflect on what's gone right and wrong and on his own play and on the team's play and how he feels like he can help. And you know what? Keandre Miller has been a good defenseman in the past, and if this reset via injury actually helps him out, that'd be great. The New York Rangers need that defense to be better. The goaltending numbers haven't been great. The scoring hasn't been fantastic, but that defense, really, there's glaring errors almost every single game. If Miller can step in and if those errors drop down to a more reasonable and acceptable number, that'd be fantastic for the New York Rangers and their fans. So we'll see if Miller's able to do that and if the Rangers can start to turn things around at least a little bit. So we're on the verge of another Winter Classic. It's on New Year's Eve this year. The Winter Classic is weird to me because go look at the New Year's Eve schedule. They did not carve out like a special, like the Winter Classic, for all of the hype around it, it should have its own day. And it doesn't this year. It's not even close. So Wrigley Field has been upgraded since the last Winter Classic game. There's a lot of talk on the NHL site about the 2009 game and how there wasn't a lot of room for the visiting team for like equipment and stuff like that because the Wrigley Field visitors locker room was pretty infamously small at the time. But it's been expanded now. Wrigley Field went through a massive renovation project, and so they're touting just how much better of an experience it should be this time than last time. And yeah, so it's Chicago and St. Louis on New Year's Eve. Should be a fun game. We'll see how that all goes. So yeah, there you go. PWHL, and I get asked a lot about the PWHL. When are you going to get PWHL jerseys? I have ordered a Boston Fleet. The only reason I ordered a Boston Fleet was I only had one left in my size. And I had to get that through Lids. I was not able to find that through the PWHL site. So I'll have a Boston Fleet. I have a Montreal from last year, so it's before they had the Victoire look and everything. So I'll count that as 2 PWHL jerseys. And I will be doing PWHL coverage as well as their season rolls along. My number one concern, of course, being the National Hockey League. And it's always this time of year where I hear, hey, you should cover the World Juniors more. The numbers in previous years when I would maybe skirt the NHL a little bit to start covering the World Juniors more, the numbers just didn't add up. There is not enough interest in the World Juniors around hockey in general, comparatively speaking, with the National Hockey League. So the NHL does get my eyeballs and my viewing, and I will always be putting World Junior stuff into news videos like this. PWHL, I will try doing my own videos on that, and we'll see how that ends up going. I'm also considering getting Team Pucks and doing like a little power ranking for the PWHL as well, while they just have the 6 teams right now and all that. So I'm basically evolving how I'm gonna cover it and what I'm gonna cover and everything. And it will be fun to get a Fleet jersey and just compare it. Just compare the Fleet jersey to like the Montreal one I got last year and see if the craftsmanship has changed or what parts of it has changed. And yeah, and then talk to all you fine people about it via video. So this is an interesting stat with the Colorado Avalanche. All 5 hat tricks by Colorado Avalanche players Finnish. 3 of them for Rantanen, 1 for Lehkonen. That was last night, of course. And Kivi Ranta has 1 as well. They are the first team in NHL history to have 3 Finnish players who have recorded hat tricks in the same season. So that's kind of a fun stat for Colorado. And it means if you're an Avs fan and you're watching the Four Nations tournament, you're like, I kind of want to root for Finland. That might be well founded. This is definitely going to be an interesting tournament for sure. I keep seeing the Finns get overlooked, and I keep thinking to myself, the Finns always, always thrive when they're overlooked going into any kind of international competition, whether it's Olympics, World Championships, and at times World Juniors as well. So we'll see how things turn out this time around. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.